What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in. And yes, you are reading this 100% right. The title is correct. Nikola is partnering with GM to make the Nikola Badger truck by the end of 2022. Again, this is the truck that everyone was saying that the rendering, you can kind of see here in the picture here that people are like, oh, this is just a render. This is not going to be a real thing. They have announced today that their supplier, their partner in this is going to be GM, General Motors. Of course, GM has a lot of car experience, been around for I don't even know how many years. But that being said, GM buys, I think it was $2 billion stake in Nikola, and the stock is up well over 50% today. We'll look here in the chart in a second. Just kind of wanted to highlight this on like, okay, GM, instead of just trying to manufacture their own truck, they're just literally just going to start partnering with Nikola and allow them to really get their foot in the door within the EV market, rather than just taking the full-on market risk on developing, researching the different various batteries and what will be the best process. GM has, again, that's a combination of the Chevy, GMC, Cadillac, and all these other makers that you know that are like iconic US made car manufacturers. Of course, you know, GM made the Hummer and all these kind of things. So this is kind of, I don't see this as a wrong without a bet. I'm just saying that this is a huge surprise in the sense of GM. I think there was some rumors that potential Toyota could have been the company that they would have gone with, but GM dropping their pants and giving $2 billion here for Nikola, buying into the company, and is getting a seat on the board, allowing them to really, again, help Nikola produce that truck. So that being said, let's go ahead and run over to the charts here. All right, go ahead and jumping and looking at the Nikola stock here. Of course, as we talked about, this is well over nearly a 50% increase. It was closed out the last week around 30-ish, $33, up 17, up to almost $19 today. Again, at that 50% move in the stock on GM buying in. And you can just see this enormous amount of volume coming in here. We can flip over to this chart here, and we can see the volume up is nearly 105 million, and the day's not even over yet. So that is a huge jump up. You can kind of see that comparison to the previous couple days or the weeks of just how amount of this volume really just is skyrocketing above that particular thing. So there is a lot of people buying in on this particular move. I think this is a lot of a short squeeze as well. Again, this comes to a surprise on how fast Nikla was able to get a partner in crime, in the sense of trying to really help them produce and make that wonderful Badger. That being said, this is, so I'm looking at some technical analysis. We kind of seen here some previous fib retracements. We're going to kind of do away with those and kind of have to reset things, because again, things have moved quite a bit here. We're going to go down to the previous move here, to the swing low, swing high, swing low. We are hitting the 38.2 percentile move, which is around that 57.96 price target. Initially, if it wants to break that previous swing high to previous swing low, 50% retracement is $61.60. I think with this very large momentum swing higher, I think we could easily hit probably 61.60 and even 69.25. That's the previous 618 Fibonacci retracement there. I know that seems crazy, even coming from me being a huge Tesla bull, but this thing has been, it did an about face, and looking at these lower levels here, that 200-day really kind of gave it, cemented somewhat of a lower bottom there, and really just propelled the stock higher again. That news, unless you had insider knowledge, you didn't know was coming. So this is some things that you just can't prep for, aka this could be a huge selling or squeeze sell here, meaning that people who were short have to start covering and so have to buy all their shares back, and this what really propels that stock to these levels. Because again, let's be honest, like Nikola didn't have the world's best outlook in the sense, and then how people perceived it, how people looked at the at Trevor and basically the overall company, of like their factory not being built in time, and all these other various questions that really came up and rang in a lot of people's minds, of like, people are like, oh, that's probably going to go to zero, it's going to go to zero, it's going to go to zero, it's going to go to zero. That being said, GM bought it $2 billion. So that's going to be a pretty significant move. We're kind of hitting that overhead band up here. So that's a lot of overhead pressure here at $57.96. If we want to see that really kind of propel higher and get kicked higher to that $61 target, we need to at least see a lot more momentum coming in. Even though on the this 1 day pop, we don't want this 1 day pop and flop kind of thing. This could pop and flop and just come right back down to below 44. But I think with the news, really the huge backing of GM, this really could, that fundamental analysis of that could really just kind of keep this stagnant or even kind of slowly trending higher. Because this, again, this is a pretty large blow to the stock if you're short it. And just really giving it some strength and giving it really a resurgence of life. Again, so key takeaways here: if it can break above 57.96, it can easily probably hit 61.60. And that's going to be a pretty key level there, as well as kind of where it previously broke up around 65 to $61. But as we've seen before with these huge rocket candles up, it's be very difficult to kind of have this last. Back here was a lot of FOMO, but of course, as of right now, we're looking at really general fundamental good news for the company. So I think a lot of people have to recalculate and figure out what they're doing with the Tesla short side, because this is a crazy amount of volume in just a very short period of time on a stock that was seeing what on average? What was that on average? Basically 14 million shares. So they're doing nearly, was that? They're probably going to do easily, probably by the end of the day, 8 times the average. So that's going to be a huge deviation move, really breaking out of that pattern that it was kind of holding here. Because you can kind of see on the weekly side, it was kind of bouncing around the 21 EMA and potentially going lower because we had targets around 26, but we can kind of see here we still have targets around that 66, 69, just being a funny number. That's kind of below where I projected the parabolic SAR dots to be to really break that trend in the long haul. I think a lot of people are in and out of this just for a quick day trade or potentially short-term trade. We'll see how this plays out going for the rest of the week. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We also are doing a live stream tonight around 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going for quite a bit and just looking at some charts, understanding the anomalies that we're seeing in the market and some just fun stuff like that. Hopefully you can come make it out, and I'd love to see you there. If you're interested in supporting the channel, we have a Discord link that's completely free. We have a Patreon page and the YouTube membership tab to support the channel. Again, guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.